Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Blue-White Control, and today I get another game that goes incredibly long, which is very nice. Not going to do any spoilers there, obviously, but we are playing Control with about as little win conditions as I would like to play. But with that said, we have counter spells galore in here. We have card draw galore in here, one being 3 steps ahead, no more lies for our counter spells. Consult the star charts as a 4 of and 3 stock ups. We have little removal and seam rip and authority to slow down not only the aggro decks. This is actually here so we don't randomly get one shotted by the artifact fire crystal deck, because it goes unanswered for one turn with an uncounterable artifact that can bring in the fire crystal for free, and we can't do anything about it. We can just explode. So that's actually what this is here. Rest in peace for a lot of pickup reasons, but mainly Vivi and obviously Sephiroth piles or other graveyard piles just end up getting picked up because we're playing this. Or get lost, 2 Day of Judgments, 2 Ultimas for artifacts as well, 1 Quantum Riddler just because I wanted to play it, 2 Elspeths as a win condition, and 2 River Regents along with the Restless Anchorage as a 3 of, 2 Fountain Ports and Demo Fields to pop our opponent's lands. With all that said, I've covered the entire deck, and we're going to go ahead and dive into the games and have some fun. Oh, everything exactly as we want it to be. Sure, why not? Exactly how we built it. We'll start off with the plains just in case like we do rip the island for the no more lies. If not, we can also be ready for get lost. We're kind of okay with this because you have to assume at some point we'll find an island. We do play quite a bit of lands. Plains down, we say go. On a red aggro, okay. We do find island, which is obviously a very awesome draw for us. This being a 4/6, by the way, will matter a ton in this matchup, I think. Rakdos. Interesting. I believe there's a better card coming. If they take the turn to pump this, then obviously we'll shoot it down with a get lost. I think they thought about it, but 1 damage, speed goes up, sure, but yeah, I felt like there was a much better play coming. No way to stop that, I suppose. Like, this isn't online. We could pop their Verge. Let's see if we need to get lost something first. We don't have to get lost anything. We will just blow up this land. Could also just get rid of this. Especially now that the caverns come down, I feel more obligated to pop this. We are in combat. That can allow them to double pump here. If this is more of a combat-based deck, then this is a problem. But I think I'm okay with letting this happen. I don't know what else I would really have to be playing around. Like, obviously, if they go another Seer Slicer, like, that kind of sucks, right? We can always get lost. Sephiroth. Okay. Can't counter. We don't have the second blue. I can get lost Sephiroth, though. Sure. Sure. You have to get rid of this. Our counter spells are just not really worth much. The Sephiroth in our deck, it is a die trigger, so if we do have a rest in peace, we're looking fine. Have another island here. No more lies. We play land. We pass. We see if consult the star charts is going to be our cast, or if 3 steps ahead will be. Getting dragged into deep waters, might I say. The heavy itself, huh? We're going to counter this. That's just too much value for Sephiroth. Because now they get to make the token and then sacrifice it to Sephiroth on attack. And then we're most likely just going to consult anyway. Take a good look at 4. Maybe help find our land. Arrow here. Yeah, in this situation, we'll just take the land. Also helps fix everything with all the basics we have. Now we're finding some mana. And now we can get lost this along with countering something. And with our hand running pretty low, this is where the Quantum Riddler is going to run pretty successfully. Goblin, sure. Only will work for one. Franco, uncounterably. Sure. Yeah, I think I want to use everything here, to be honest. Just remember the Cavern was used on Krenko. Our counterspell's kind of now dead. We pop here. Krenko can fall to a board wipe of some kind. And now I think I just put a massive creature in front. This will now draw me to. I could have done the cheaper option. But again, with Cavern and a lot of counterspells in our deck, most likely we're going to rip a counterspell and it's not going to be that great. This is kind of what we find here. And this is a good blocker. Obviously, they might have some form of removal, but they definitely seem more like a go wide strategy here. Sure. Fair enough. Are they attacking with Krenko or are they making tokens? It's always interesting with that card what to do. I do think personally attacking with it being a 5/5 is way more important. Yeah, I'm not sold on that agreement by any means. Don't let him untap with it. Go ahead. Sure. They also missed out on like 5 damage last turn. It took like their entire turn with the maps to do everything. Sure. Alright, fair enough. That, however, not quite the card they probably want it to be. I'll take 1 life here to prevent myself from taking 3. Obviously, with this many stock ups and stuff in our deck, we're really just all about time. Or apparently we're about trying to, I don't know, lose this video game, I guess. Go ahead, Mr. Opponent. A lot of mana. A stock up would solve a lot of things. Consult will solve a lot of things. That is on goblins, so we're fine. We prevent here. We attack with this. Day of Judgment. Okay. Attack here. Make a map. Activate here. And then if we can make this a little bit larger. Yeah, unfortunately, we rip a land. Not ideal, that's for sure. Getting a lot of land. At some point, we have to find a stock up and some action, you would think, but who's to know? Whenever you put a blight counter on it, then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses for life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent of his choice or discards a card. Okay. Sure. Resolve. We discard this. Up. Fountain Port has taken 3 damage but saved us 4 life. Or yeah, saved us a ton of life. Go stock up here maybe. And then Day of Judgment most likely. I don't need more lands, I can tell you that much. This can represent no more lies, so we just do that. Ultima might be a bit more efficient, depending on the fact that we might have been able to Day of Judgment next turn and then use Fountain Port, but I think we can do that anyway. And just like that, we grind the game out. A very interesting deck our opponent was on. It feels like it was supposed to be like a weapon manufacturing deck, but it's just straight up goblins. But I wonder if they play a wild run to give this haste and things like that, but they didn't have the go wide plan quite ready. Typically Boros is the best kind of version of goblins to go wide because they have, the enchantment, and then they also have like the instant speed red-white spell that can make creatures on our end step and stuff. But yeah, very cool list. Unfortunately, they come up short. On the draw, tap. Our hand's like okay. Our hand's pretty good. Now it's a little bit weird, but sure. This could be artifacts, but I'm okay with playing the Surveil land first. I'll keep the 3 steps ahead. It might matter. We do play Elspeth. Ooh, Esper. So it's mill. I'll play this. They shocked. Uh-huh. Okay. Am I only one confused here? Not fighting over that. If they cast like a stock up next turn, I'll probably fight over that though. This is like 2 mana, look at the top 3, grab 1. This is anticipate. If you would counter anticipate, maybe, you know, whatever. Also, them getting to go into their turn untapped is pretty brutal. If I would have responded. Final Showdown, okay. I will respond with this though. I do have a stock up, but I do need a land drop, so that matters to me much more. Obviously, they could have been on the same boat. A lot of tap lands for us here, but let's surveil. I'll take a stock up. I think stock up's pretty good. And we'll pass because now they can play a 2 mana thing that gets around my No More Lies. Interesting situation we're in here. Oh, I guess. I probably could have jammed the authority then. But at this point, I don't think we're against 4-color pile. I just don't know what it is. Uh-huh. Guess I can run out an authority. I don't know. My mana allows it. Okay. So authority matters? Yes? How does authority matter here? To also do that so quickly. We didn't even get to our end step before they did that. Now we need lands, so we fire off stock up. We do have to kind of go shields down for a turn, I think. So this is where like a Fountain Port is monumental. We do have an Ultima, so don't really need it. Consult's good, but with 2 stock up in hands, it feels a bit redundant. So I guess we just take the 2 lands that actually do things here. And then we play a Fountain Port, and then we say go. The thing with Fountain Port here is we can just sacrifice these maps to keep drawing cards. Although my money was them on mill. So I have a question. Typically, I would cut this. But was that game single-handedly the most do literally nothing game and win that you've ever seen in your entire life? We both cast 3 spells, and the only damage that was taken, life gained, creature removed, or anything was 1 shock land came in under our opponent's control to put them to 18, and they get lost in the authority of the councils, and I casted a stock up, and they I assume missed a land and then conceded. What? Like, what? Control always has this weird ominence of being able to kind of buy a couple extra turns because opponents are like, oh, I can't jam into that. That's a bit weird. Goblins, okay. Well, now it's weird. Do I counter a thing? I think I just counter a thing, right? Last goblin player had a cavern, so, you know, that mattered a lot. Sure. They do nothing. Now I have counterspell, plus I get to Seam Rip, which is pretty dope. I do need another blue for the consult, though, which is slightly annoying. Good. Am I good? Good. You can do 4. It's fine. Turn matters, but The thing about burn matchups is you need to be able to stop the consistent damage, and the Screaming Nemesis they play here is going to be more important, maybe. Oh, no. Nice. Sure. Authority seems okay. I do think I'll let another burn spell through. I just don't think we can allow something like a Screaming Nemesis to happen. In matchups like this, your life total is by a mountain and a mile a resource, right? Like, you just have to be able to absorb most of it if you can. Obviously, we can't play around that, but we have a seam rip for it. Sure. Now we do have to potentially play around countering some stuff. Here's another seam rip. Now I don't necessarily have to worry about Screaming Nemesis near as much because I have an authority. Let's play it. So I might be able to barrel this Nemoralize. Also kind of playing around the fact that they are fully playing around the Nemoralize. But one card in hand. I'll let the Burst Lightning go. There's an authority. Any life this gains is obviously an incredible amount. Down to 7. No cards in hand for our opponent. One land basically is probably not an auto loss for them, but it definitely causes a lot of problems. I feel like a Screaming Nemesis is bound to be jammed at some point because I feel like they need it. And that's exactly what we get. Kind of the break we need. That's probably what? Burst Lightning? Higher Claw? Sure, we'll gain 1 off that. I will go Elspeth here. Make 2 soldiers. So now I have blocks. We'll take 1 from this. And obviously something like a Screaming Nemesis doesn't do anything because it enters tapped here. And then obviously we just obviously block the Higher Claw. Could force them to level it up by double blocking. But realistically, the way their mana is going to work, they're going to just do it anyway. Not realistically another card in their hand that they probably have to have. Do I consult for double here? I think so. I want 2 cards. I want Island plus Nemoralize here. Creatures. 1. Go. Wonder what this last card in their hand is. Another land. And we said a land draw was probably going to be the death of them. I do stand behind that. You can pump. That'd be fine. And a value 3 or greater. We're going to try to use this to get there. Plus maybe sending the last final burn spell upstairs. Let's play this. Ultima not needed, I don't think. And then now I want to cycle this plus... I want to cycle this plus hold up my Nemoralize. 2. Obviously, I could play this and bounce the Higher Claw back to hand, but it's only 1 damage a turn, and I can't really counter it or anything, so it's fine. Sure. 5 is dangerous, though. 5 is the dangerous life total point. That's for sure. Here. My turn. That was 4 get lost literally in a row, by the way. Just need that to be known. That was 4 copies of Get Lost in a row. They say oops. Good game, I guess. I'm probably dead. No? I could be dead. Or they concede. Alright, sweet. I think they may have had the protection spell for that and then let it go, but sure, we'll take it. All right, Mr. Graveyard Deck, I have a Rest in Peace in my hand. I would like you to come out and play. Not quite what I had in mind. Probably not a graveyard deck. Could be. This definitely hurts me a lot more than it hurts them, that's for sure. Okay, wait. It is a graveyard deck. Hold on. Everybody pause. Oh, what? Can't be blocked beginning of your second main phase. Creatures tabs. You may search the library for a card, put it in your graveyard, and shuffle. I think this is good. Now, do I need to somehow kill any amount of creatures because the 2-mana 3/1's going to kill me? Probably. Do I have many ways to do so? Yeah. Will I find them? I don't know. Down to 13. Kind of the great mystery. Okay. Guess I hold up my No More Lies? I don't know. I want to star charts, but if they don't play anything, I'm going to. I need to find some answers to the board. There's not a whole lot I can do if I'm just dying to these, right? A Day of Judgment would be awesome. I got the graveyard deck I wanted to see. The problem being, I don't have a way to answer any creatures on the board when I play quite a bit of removal. Do this. That's just a land. Okay. You're up, Mr. Opponent. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm at 3. Yep. I don't know, bro. If they got burn spells, they got them. These two, I guess. Sweet. No creature land. This one. Alright. I'm at 3. Can you kill me? Sure. Boy, we are trying our best here. Well, I can't. No, but it can help pay for Get Lost. Turn. Any burn in that deck of yours, opponent? Need 2 No More Lies held up. Did we stabilize at 3? World may never know. My turn. Alright. The lands at this point can stop coming through. I will take another 3 steps ahead. We are kind of at the epitome of like, we can't ever let anything resolve. No More Lies obviously being a pretty good resource of that. I still have one available. Do I want this 3 steps? Probably, I guess. And now we'll just go into deck thinning territory. Well, at least with one, because they can always play a creature land, and that causes problems, right? This one. Actually, cancel. They could play other colored spells. So we're going to get Starting Town out of there. Probably should make sure I use my demo field next turn. Or next try. That would make sense. Grab another blue here. Need a lot of it. Stock it up. Fiddler. Salt. Land. Go ahead. Counter. Our turn. Alright, now haste doesn't matter to me. So we could be a bit looser now. Especially if we get out of this 3 life range. What a game. The Rest in Peace, by far, was the most important card. Not close. But we somehow got to an Ultima before they just put anything else on the field, and we died to it. So, for that, nice. I'm going to play the Authority. When I see the Simic land, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So, I'm going to get the Authority down. Could also rip an untapped source. We don't. No More Lies not up. Obviously, we could have went for No More Lies, but that's when they get a creature underneath this, and then we're in really bad, sad times. Land is obviously best draw. Surveil land's probably the best draw. Because then we have No More Lies held up, but then we also get to look and hopefully see if there's another land. We miss. We have to just kind of take that on the chin and use the consult stall charts or star charts. If not, the No More Lies. And then star charts the next turn just to find our mana, maybe. But realistically, let's be honest, if they counter this, and so be it. They could try to hold us underneath the water by not allowing us to look. I guess I'll grab that. 2 more cards, no land. There is a land, thankfully. So I don't have to, like, stress out over it. The Quantum Riddler getting a bit harder to do. Turn. Maybe. Maybe. I am going to counter that. I'm going to take that out of the deck. I'm not going to let them fix their hand. I'm already so far behind, and who's to say my No More Lies is going to be good next turn, right? Because you never know. What if they're missing a land and now the game's equal? They didn't miss a land at all, and I'm lying. They end up doing nothing, so thankfully we kind of get out of that ahead. And I, unfortunately, have to pass once again. Sure. Uh-huh. One. Fighting everything we can just to find lands here. And there was 3 in a row. That would have been a good time. And now we miss, but we all know if I didn't cast that, that wasn't 3 in a row. We all know. Sure. Now have kind of a lot of things going. I can do this myself and fix my hand. My opponent's on Simic something. I just don't know. I don't know what Simic would be. Is that the creature sign? It is the creature sign. That's actually fine. I'm gonna get value off my get lost if I can. They can gain 3 life. I don't care. I'm actually going to go for this, and then I'll get lost this. Now we did counter their River Regent. They might respond by doing the same. They could have the 2 mana counter spell if you like reveal a dragon, right? Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Yeah, which is fine to some extent. I kind of just want lands, brother. I understand I looked at 3 and put 1 in my hand, but like, come on now. That's 2 right there. We do have more get lost, so it's not like we're out here. No More Lies is obviously getting worse, so we're going to barrel it here. Land! Land! Land ho, brother. We are ready to go. It just seems like big, like, control kind of dragon style deck, huh? Did they hard cast that? No, they're warping this. And if they put something in, it's uncounterable, right? Bloodborne Tyrant would be bad. Obviously, they could have counterspell here. Worst case, they put like a Voltborn Tyrant in anyway. But if we can counter that, that's not 2 spells that they get. Fortunately, our land did enter tap, so our No More Lies was not available. Good land. We're working on it. Want them? Might as well cast this now. I have a little bit of mana to work with each turn. You have 4 mana held up, so the other counterspell doesn't work. And that's a good thing we did. Do a haste? Smile? This one. Other reason I kind of like playing Just Sky Control. Obviously, No More Lies is great to counter things and exile them. So, like, especially in, like, VV matchups and whatnot. But having this counterspell just feels much better. Because it always seems like you're countering for 4 instead. Unfortunately, this is not a dragon, even though it kind of looks like one at first glance. The Sphinx, you can tell by the 4 wings. And his body's all contorted. Want them. Eugene. Not a card I was expecting. Fair enough, though.
Heed my counsel.
Team Rip. Seems very bad. Back. Land, maybe? Very good card, though. Well, so now it doesn't feel like I should jam the Seam Rip because it doesn't seem like it'll do me any good. If they play another Ugin, it's got, like, little value, right? You just get lost it or something. Down to 1 card, though. Fair enough. Would you like to return 2 maps? We kind of hope this hits poorly. Like, we hope it's a permanent they want to keep on top. Wagon's not bad. Maybe not the card they want, though. Yeah, I was going to say, Wagon's not bad. Especially if you're playing, like, Ugins in your deck. It feels like a weird one to keep on top. Land. Pretty good, obviously. I think I have enough to kind of interact with this board, and I'd much rather hold up my counterspell. Can I do everything? If Stock Up were to miss a land, we wouldn't be able to. So let's get lost this. And then let's hold up our counterspell. Go from there. Five mana. Everywhere land probably doesn't matter. Creature, not necessarily the most impressive. But do I just take the turn to do it? I have 2 get lost used, 1 3 steps ahead. So we're running kind of thin on our counter spells. But No More Lies is basically gone forever anyway. So thankfully we don't have any more. I am going to counter this though. It seems like the right play because they'll get to use 2 more maps and whatnot. And that's just not great. Team Rip, I feel like so far, based on everything they've played, I'm probably better off just popping it. Like just playing it down. But with what's in our hand, I think I go for Stock Up. Pretty much maybe guarantee hit a land and a win condition, which is indeed that. So we do these. And then now we just have to be fearful of like an Ugin, I guess. Once we go for Elspeth, or we have to rely on 2 1/1s to win us the game. Could happen. Yeah. That is definitely better than the alternative of the Hauntwoods. I would have loved to counter this instead. We're kind of in the same boat. I don't really have a lot of choice. They pass, fortunately enough. Now we can barrel this. It auto-resolves. Nice. This card's basically dead. So I'm not grabbing it. I'm going to grab another one of these. Fountain Port seems like a good land to play here. Problem is Quantum Riddler ain't going to do nothing for a very long time, huh? I'm jamming. 2 tokens. Go. Go. Do have one more Elspeth in the deck somewhere. We know it's not in the bottom 6, which is nice. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Literally the only true thing I was afraid of. You have to find another get lost at some point somehow.
Guides your hand. The wise heed my advice.
Probably better off just sacrificing one of these tokens and drawing a card, right? Great. And a hard counter spell this time. Thankfully, as we all know, Ugins are cast triggers. And I do probably need to work on closing this game, I think. Back here. Make a map. Feel like they do have probably the bigger deck. We are running very thin on our own like removal. We have one get lost left. And that's so good though. Is it worth barreling or counterspell for? I'm not sure. Maybe. I just probably let it resolve. We just need to hit Ugins with our counter spells left. 1, 2. This is our last 3 steps ahead. A tragic day. Fountain Port's gonna mean pretty much everything to us. Pretty much everything to us. 12 cards. You have picked up a third of your deck. So, a little bit more. A little, like, barely more. I think it's by 1 more, right? Be like 11.3 cards at 34. Rag, do you have a cavern? Oh, that's fair. That's fine. Not like a great thing for us to have to deal with, but that's fine. I just like do this. I need to get my spacebar ready. Oh, I do. Alright, well, I'll do that. Hey! Pretty good. The reason they're not investing in this, because obviously this could die, and they know that. There's no reason to overcommit on that. Surveil land. Lands matter somewhat. Here's one more Ugin. I just don't know how I'll answer the last one. I'll have to get lost it, I guess. Maybe we just let the Ugin resolve. One, two, three, 4. Sure. In the turn. It's gonna be another 30-minute game in which I lose at the end. But only the world may never know. Obviously, if Ugin comes down here, we're countering it. You can also do it in a pretty cool way, maybe. Sure. All right. Well, now maybe they'll wait. I would wait if I'm them. At least I tell myself I'd wait. Down to 15. What a life total resource. Damn it anyway. Alright, so we can do something kind of cool here. We can counter this. That resolves. It might not. They might have another one of these, which would be disastrous. And with the target here, we can actually sacrifice this and draw another card. My thing is, I barely have any counter spells left. I'm at 26 cards. This is way more likely that I just spontaneously explode. This is kind of our win state right now. Pop you. Since I have really nothing, is it to go for the Riddler here? I think so. Because we know they're going to have a counter spell. Something like, oh, that's a great pickup. So they have one Ugin left. Ugin being the main card that can beat us. So obviously if they cast another one, we do have to somehow win this game. I don't know how. We do have to somehow do that. Yep. Because obviously Elspeth's gone. They could cast another colorless spell. But obviously I can get lost this.
I will mend this broken world.
They don't seem to have a lot of colorless things. Feels like Ugin's just more of a value card. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on board. That I might just be able to like smack Ugin in the head here instead. Or I can just get lost it and go for face. I don't know. Let's try that plan. I can always get lost it maybe after. I can't, by the way, because they can counter it. I don't know what they have a pause on. Probably another consult star charts if I had to guess. This is everything if this resolves, by the way. If this combat resolves. Their last Ugin is down. All my Elspeths are gone. Everything is bad. Nothing is good. The world is empty. Wizards of the Coast loves MTG the Gathering. These are all things we know. I'll put it on another land. Obviously, this is a good card. So we'll keep. Obviously, that was like a really risky play. We could have just get lost it, but I felt like in a deck that clearly has big giant dragons and like, for example, river regions and stuff, and the lumbering wagon wheel is, this is 15, so this is going to do 15, right? Not warping? No, that's just hard cast. Fine. It is whenever it leaves the battlefield, so it's a bit tough. Now, obviously, I can Ultima, and then that means it does literally nothing, which is pretty sweet. Can I stock up first? Do I even want to stock up first? Do I want to hit my opponent for 4? This is what they get to put an Overlord in play. Huh. It's all mystery. I think I have to Ultima, though. Yeah. I have 6 mana. So this can either counter for 4 and I pay for it, or 2 of them and I still pay the 4 and it doesn't matter. This isn't everything. Remember, this is a leave the battlefield trigger. It goes on the stack and then it would get bypassed by Ultima. It'll just go straight to their turn. They'll get no draw, as you can see. Now it's their turn. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Sure. You can always put this back in their hand with the River Regent. I genuinely don't know what our true win state of this game is. Take a fish, though. I can do that. Take my turn. Get lost this. Obviously, because we can pay for it. And then we're going to bring up our bigger anchorage. And we're just going to start holding up some mana. Representing. Honestly wanting to do this. Resolve. They show me that. I will still pay the 4. Obviously, this seems like their play, so I'm going to do this. If they want to cycle it away to get 2 different cards other than their good creature, then sure, you know? Like one of those things. The 6/7, actually a bit tough. Down to 17. I'd keep putting it on the land. So obviously, it could go Day of Judgment, activates its land, brutal. We'll play it. Sure. Can't really afford to go any lower on cards. We're at 19. They go here, we can then Day of Judgment and then bring up our lands and attack. Trying to win. Hands down, I've just had days of back-to-back games that have been pretty tough to try to grind out and win. Big accelerating ramp deck where it feels like maybe we don't play enough win conditions, but I do feel like we do. It's just like a weird situation. Caverns, flooding a bit for them. They're down to 23, so they've gotten a lot closer over the last couple of turns. Eldrazi, sure. Kind of know our plan here. We play land, I slam a Day of Judgment. That auto resolves. We come up with this. Then I come up with... I think I'm just going to attack both of these. And we take it away, bro. 21 minutes. What is up with this? It's game 5 again, by the way, that I'm uploading on this video. Game 5 yesterday was 33 for a loss. Today is 22 for a win in Diamond 1, which is nice. Very hard meticulous game. I wish I knew what cards were left in my deck. It's one of the things I like about MTGO a lot. But 4 cards we had not seen yet. The rest have been seen and put on the bottom through some means of consult star charts or stock up and things like that. And we get to take away the game. So that's pretty awesome. And with that, let's go to the outro. Okay, so here we are. I talked about the outro for about 5 minutes and then realized half of it was me talking about VV and Wizards ban announcements and stuff like that. So I'm going to talk about blue-white control instead. So things I liked about this deck is we constantly are able to keep our hand full with things like consult star charts and stock up. That I did play a Riddler today, but realistically I played this because I wanted to. Maybe not because it's the best in slot. Biza could go here, maybe the other 4th stock up, but I do think having a card that can win the game, this is also like an added win condition really in a blue-white control deck. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just is what it is. We only need 1 creature for 5 turns, and obviously blue-white can do that well. And then you can see I was up here in blue artifacts. I was talking about being able to run just one of these maybe in the Quantum Riddler slot, just because we are pretty much guaranteed to get to that end game. The only problem with this is a very bad nombo with Rest in Peace. But you never know, like just having one of these down and just making your opponent mill 2 cards every end step over 10 turns, that's, you know, that's 20 cards, and that's not very like out of the realm of question for what we're doing. And if we just don't have to play Rest in Peace, for example, in that last matchup we just had, finding one of these and barreling it, making our opponent mill 23 cards when they had plenty in there. We were both at, I was at 19, they were at 20, and they had 2 cards in hand, so they had like 16 lands, so that's 18 cards, so they most likely had anywhere between 22 lands in their graveyard to like 18, so this just being played and being like, okay, you have 4 turns to figure out how to win, you know what I mean? So like, and also that exhausted, that's not going to stop us from milling, right? So you could argue to play that in kind of the replacement of the Jace, although that might be like a bit of the meme territory. But outside of that, our win conditions obviously conceal of Riddler. Once it's in play, obviously a River Regent and Elspeth is the main win con. And if we unfortunately have to do it, the Fountain Port win con can also get there as you just make tokens and tokens and tokens. Anybody who's played the castles from Throne know exactly what that's all about. But we also had things like Jace, I think at that time. I could be, not Jace, Teferi maybe, I think, which made it a lot easier because you were able to like make a token, then untap it, then make a token on their end step. But I could be wrong about that. But other win cons, obviously, for your opponent to death. If it's all artifacts, Ultima can also just win by being cast. Sometimes your opponent just picks them up after that, especially if you've blown up 3 or 4. Obviously, blown up 4 synthesizers, but if you've blown up 2 or 3 of them, sometimes they'll just move on after that anyway, especially with a card like Authority around. Rest in Peace obviously can beat up on Graveyard. So you do actually have sneakily a lot of win conditions dependent on the matchup. But if it's kind of a heads up matchup like it was in that last game, you're just going to have to be very patient about it. And you do have to count cards. You do have to do what we did, where we were like, okay, I have X amount of these spells left. I can't afford to counter a thing that another card in my deck can answer pretty easily, or I do just have to use a Day of Judgment or an Ultima as a one creature removal. Because, for example, in that last matchup, the only card we could not beat was an Ugin. So we saved our counterspell for it, or we saved our Get Lost for it. We randomly brought up 2 lands and attacked an Ugin and killed it, which I wouldn't have thought was capable. Also, we have these as a win condition. This is a pretty good win condition, to be fair. This does get there pretty quickly just because of the maps being able to make it grow. I think we had one of this 4-5, and then obviously could have gone to 5-6, and then like a 6-7, so forth, so on and so forth. But overall, I like where this is at. I think Ultimas are a requirement because we can't really compete with artifacts. Obviously, Day of Judgment isn't good enough there. Authority does save us from getting one-shotted, but then Ultima just literally, it's like getting sea-rifted in a commander game by the opponent who's winning, right? Like, it's just, oh, hey, I know I never really need to commit to the board, but what if I just don't commit to the board and I send you back to the Stone Ages? Like, what if we do that, right? And I have 8 cards in hand somehow, and you're confused by that because I'm cheating and not discarding it in step, and you just have 2, you know? It's kind of like that, right? With all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope this is fine. I do find myself longing to just play Jeskai instead because I am a Lightning Helix fiend. I do love it. And Shiko reminds me of Snapcaster and Torrential Gearhulk, and we all know that those cards are fringe playable, or when Snapcaster's good, it's good for like a week in Modern, and then they're like, oh, Quantum Riddler's better. Remove this card from our format, please, smile. But with that said and done, I do find myself liking Jeskai more, but do I think Blue-White's better overall? Probably. Definitely in best of 3, it's proven to be better than Jeskai. But as a deck to play on the ladder, I do prefer Jeskai over Blue-White, but that's just me. And they kind of feel the same. They just have different cards, which make the deck feel a bit cooler. And I think Corey Steel Mountain is a pretty sweet thing that deck can have that this deck doesn't play. Also, realizing right now, last little bit here. Did 2 off? Where are you at? Probably should be playing a copy of this. I just realized that I didn't put a single copy in, and in mirrors, this is pretty important. Even though I don't enter tapped, you're okay with that because a lot of times it's okay. But yeah, probably should be playing a Mistride Village over like that. That seems that obviously it's never going to enter untapped, like literally ever, but it might matter a ton. So, who knows? With all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video regardless, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.